sometimes I get in such a rhythm of knitting that I will totally miss the increase row. Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with you all today. Okay, so the first project that I want to share with you all is my Sophie scarf. The Sophie scarf is by Petite Knit, and here it is. Now this is actually my 4th Sophie scarf, and I love it. And I'm trying to remember, I think this is a small size. Yeah, I do believe this is a small size. So the yarn that I use for this is Vitalana in the Ambient Worsted Base by KnitCrate, and the colorway is called Titian, and it is a 100% Peruvian Highland wool, non-superwash. It's worsted weight, yay, and it's 100 yards, which is 91 meters, 50 grams. So this was actually a mini skein that I had gotten a while ago, and I had used the other mini skeins for a striped cowl, and this was the only one that didn't get used, so I'm really happy to have it. And so the needle size that I used was a US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter knitting needle. Okay, so for my in my notes I have that I used a 14-inch cable. The pattern calls for a 24-inch cable, but I don't just the cable, it's like, to me that's too much cable for the scarf. So I used a 14-inch, but you know, you could use a 16-inch. It's just with Chalga, they have a 14-inch cable instead of a 16-inch cable. So yeah, that's that. And I really like it. I have blocked it, so that's been great. Now, I will say that I have learned, in order to not drop stitches, I need to knit slower. Because I tend to, like, especially with a project like this, I get into that rhythm and then I drop a stitch. And then I have to depend on my trusty crochet hook to get me out of trouble and help me pick up the stitch. So I had to do that a lot, but it turned out really well. I didn't really make any mistakes on the I-cord, which is usually where I make the mistake, but I didn't. And yeah, thanks to my crochet hook, I was able to pick up dropped stitches, but I've learned that if I just slow down a little bit, then, you know, I can do it. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to wear this as like a necktie, or I could wear it in my hair. I'm not sure. I like both. I actually really like wearing the Sophie Shawls in my hair, but they make cute little neckties too, so I don't know. We shall see. And out of that 50-gram ball, this was how much I had left. So if you have a 50-gram mini skein, or if you have 50 grams of leftover stash yarn, yes, definitely make this project. All right, moving on, we have the Suzy Beret. So the Suzy Beret is a wonderful pattern, and it is by Jessie Roslin. It is a pay-for pattern, And oh, I don't think I said this, but the Sophie Scarf is also a pay for pattern. So this is it. Now I have not blocked this yet. However, I do love the way it fits. It has like that perfect amount of slouch in it. And I love the decreases. That's so nice. And of course, I love the color. So this yarn may look a little bit familiar to you all because the yarn that I used is Cascades Yarn 128 Superwash. It's 100% Superwash Merino Wool. And this is in the colorway Italian Plum. And so it is fantastic. It is 128 yards per skein, which is 117 meters. It's 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces. So I actually used this yarn to make my I-1 vest, which I do have an entire video about. So I made this vest and I had one skein of yarn left because I had originally bought 4 skeins of this yarn and I ended up only using like 3. So I had an entire skein left over and I made a matching beret. So I can't wait to wear this as like a complete outfit. And this is how much yarn I had left out of that extra skein after I made the beret hat. So yeah, I'm probably going to wet block it and let it dry for a little bit. But I really like the way it is, you know, the way it lays on my head. I really like it. So I don't know. We'll see. If I do block it, it's going to be a very, very light blocking that I do on this. So yeah, it is fantastic. And also, it is one of the hats that, I'm trying to think, did this hat make it to that video? But I did make a video about really easy beginner knit hats. I'm not sure if this hat made it to that list. However, I have added this hat to my list. In fact, I have a Ravelry bundle, which is just a page where I have all of my favorite knit hats listed. So I will leave that link below. Yeah. And also, I'll try to leave a link in the end screen with that video of all of my favorite knitted hats. Okay, so what else do I want to say about this? I really enjoyed this pattern. The only thing I would say is I have discovered that I do not like doing make one increases. Yeah, I think it's an increase. I don't know. It's just, I think it's because I'm a tight knitter. I think that's the issue. It may not be that the make one is the issue. It's me. Yeah. It's just like picking up that bar between the last stitch and the next stitch. I don't know. It's just too tight for me. But anyway, I got it done. So it is totally fine. And it looks great. And I don't think I want to put a pom-pom on this since it kind of has a slouchy fit. But you could totally put a pom-pom on it. And this hat comes in 3 different sizes. It has the small, medium, and the large. And so I actually made this hat with the using the large size, and it turned out to be way too big, way too big. So I ripped it out, and I ended up making the small version. And since I have so much yarn left, if I was to ever make this hat again, I would probably try to make the medium version. But I was just like so surprised by how big the large size one that I was like, okay, if I make the small size one, then I should be good to go. So yeah, keep that in mind if you do make this, that it's large. It's super large, like too much. And I have a lot of hair and it was just too much for me. But it's a really simple, quick project. It only took me like 2 days to make it, and yay, I love it. So that's that. All right. So the next one I have for you is a work in progress, and it is my Sophie Shawl. The Sophie Shawl is by Petite Knit. And here's mine. My yarn is rolling on the floor. But I do have 2 skeins of this, so I can share the yarn with you all. But this is what it's looking like so far. I am loving the gradient of this yarn. It's beautiful. It's got little pink and purple and blue in there, and it is fantastic. So let me tell you all about the yarn. I have 2 skeins of this. This is the yarn. It is Feeder Brook Farm, and it is approximately 100 grams, 260 yards. It is hand dyed and milled in the US. The fiber content is 100% blue face Leicester wool, which I love. I love blue face Leicester, BFL, BFL wool. So the colorway is called which is interesting to me because this colorway is better than just but you know, it's all up to the dyer, because there have definitely been some colorways I have dyed and I'm like, ugh, but everybody else loves them, so that's just the way it goes. But anyway, this is a number 3 DK weight yarn. And as I said, I have 2 of these. So for the Sophie Shawl, I wanted to make the large size. However, I only had 2 skeins of this, and so I only had enough yarn to make the medium size. So if I make it again, which I feel like I probably will, if I have at least 3 skeins of either DK or worsted weight yarn, then I will make the large size. But here it is so far. I mean, it's getting really wide, really wide. And it's definitely going to need to be blocked, which is totally fine. But right now, I do believe I am 1 pattern repeat from starting the decreases, so I'm excited about that. And the needle size that I'm using my ChildGoo interchangeable, and it's a US 8, which is a 5mm knitting needle. And so yeah, here it is. And I've been working on this for a few days now, on and off. It's just a wonderful project to have, to just work on. Especially like, you know, if you're knitting with friends or if you're knitting in the car or whatever, this project is just so wonderful to have, because you really, like, the only part of it that you have to pay attention to is when you get to that I-cord edging. And that's where I always mess up, because instead of pulling the yarn in front to do the purl, I always, well, I don't always, but I remember when I first made the Sophie Scarf, I was forgetting that, and it was just, you know, messing it up. Yeah, the only issue I'm having with this one is sometimes I get in such a rhythm of knitting that I will totally miss the increase row, and then I have to go back, rip the stitches back, or tink back, is that what people call it? I have to go all the way back to the beginning of the row, do the increase, and continue. So yeah, that's the only issue I'm having with this, is just forgetting the increases. And I actually have a row counter, but when I get into the rhythm of working on this thing, yeah, sometimes I just keep going and I don't pay attention. But the increase is really important, because you're going to increase it to a point, and then of course you'll start decreasing. So yeah, definitely important. But I'm loving the yarn so much. It is really, really sheepy. I have found like hay in here. There's like sheep hairs in here, animal hairs, but it's not like overwhelming, and it doesn't bother me, but it feels amazing. So I love it. And if you're looking for like a good non-superwash that's actually soft and not scratchy and itchy, definitely check out this yarn here. I'm so excited. I have noticed that each skein is slightly a little different, but I feel like once I start knitting it, it really won't be that noticeable. And I haven't opened the skein yet, so I could be wrong. It seems to be a little bit lighter than this one, But like I said, I won't know until I cake it up and start using it. So yeah, that's that. All right, I do believe that is all that I have in terms of like my lips and works in progress and all that stuff. So the next thing that I wanted to do is have a bavardon section. And of course, bavardon just means let's chat in French. All right, y'all. So today's question is, if you listened to boy bands back in the day, who were your favorite boy bands? And if you're anything like me, they're still my favorite boy bands. But yeah, so I just loved Backstreet Boys, Boys to Men, 98 Degrees, In Sync. And I know for like a lot of people, they have different definitions of what they think a boy band is. Some people think it's just pop. For me, boy bands were any group of like men that kind of did like pop, a little bit of pop music. But even like R&B groups like New Edition. I don't know. Some people would consider them a boy band. Some people might be like, no. But I am going to include them on this list because they were a group of men that sung and danced together back when boy bands were popular. But yeah, I'm going to include New Edition. Hanson. Remember Hanson? That is definitely a boy band. Who else do we have? Oh, Rascal Flatts. And I know people might not be like, that's not a boy band, but they were a group of men who sung and danced together. And so, I love Rascal Flatts. And of course, we all have our favorites when it comes to boy bands. I remember with Hanson, I liked, the youngest. I think his name was Zachary. He was my favorite. And then the Backstreet Boys, Nick Carter was always my favorite. And there are a few discrepancies, though, that I would like to address with the boy bands. First of all, in terms of NSYNC, a lot of people are Justin Timberlake fans. And I don't know what the issue is, but in my opinion, JC had the better voice. He just did. He had the better voice, but it was always Justin that got the attention. And another one that I have to point out is 98 Degrees. Everybody and their mama's sister loved Nick Lachey. However, I was a Jeff fan. To me, Jeff had the better voice. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. Were you into boy bands? Who's your favorite boy band? Let me know. Let me know who was your favorite in the group. Who did you think had the best voice in the group? There are a lot of overrated and underrated boy bands out there. But yeah, let me know. And also let me know like if you like some of the modern bands. I forgot to mention B2K. B2K, yes. That was a boy band back in the day. But I know a lot of people, they would include BTS in that group. Some people would include like New Kids on the Block in that group. So yeah, there's just like a ton of boy bands that you can include. But let me know in the comment section below. Who's your favorite boy band? Who was your favorite member of the group? Who did you think had the best voice? I would love to know. I remember in school, like my friends and I, we would get together during PE and we would exchange posters. And I remember like I was in the Backstreet Boys fan group. And we used to argue with the NSYNC girls every day because they were so stuck on NSYNC. And we were like, no, Backstreet Boys is so much better. And it was all in good fun. But we would just like go back and forth during PE. And it was so much fun. And yeah, I definitely miss those days. It was just a lot of fun. And yeah, so anyway, let me know. All right, so I'm looking around and I think the way I'm going to end this video with y'all, I am going to share with you all some yarn that I have in my shop. I'm going to share the bulky weight yarn that I have in my shop, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I have links in the description box below as to where you can find all my links to my crochet supplies, knitting supplies, filming supplies, whatever. You can find me on social media as Queen's Yarn Boutique. And if you want to support my channel, I have links below for that as well. So please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I just realized, it was either yesterday or today, that I have passed 7,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh. Like, I am just so excited, and I just have to say thank you all so much. It's been fantastic, and I just appreciate each and every one of you for continuing to watch and support my channel. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope to continue in the future making more content for you all. So yeah, I'm going to leave a little clip of some yarn that I have in my shop. And if you would like to continue to keep watching my videos, you can click on the end screen after that clip. So until next time, bye!